Hello, friends. Just a short video that I'm going to put in front of a lot of our current deep dive videos that we're doing on Now is the Terminator. I just wanted to give a shout out. If people aren't aware, Thomas Tenney, who did the art on a lot of the issues of uh, Now's Terminator series and was the artist on Marvel's Force Works for the first handful of issues, is having health issues. Um, and he's also having money issues. And he created a GoFundMe. And I guess the goal is 20,000, and he's already at like 13, $14,000. But I'm going to put a link in the description down below. If you feel the need to help him out, if you've read any of his work, he's done many other things other than Terminator and Force Works. He's been the artist on a bunch of indie books. Um, but again, I just wanted to make a quick little shout out uh, to make you aware that yet another artist that we've all seen his art, we've all read the comics that he's drawn, is going through a hardship. So please look in the description for the link to his GoFundMe. If you can donate, that would be excellent. That would be awesome to help Thomas Tenney out. Thank you again, and we will continue with the deep dive. Hello, friends. I'm Mark Stanislawski. I am also Good Ideas Comics. And we continue our deep dive into Now Comics, The Terminator. We're on issue number 6. At this point, it's 1989. Terminator 2, unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure Terminator 2 came out in 1989. That was a summer movie. So don't know how that's going to affect this book as it moves forward. Right off the bat, this is a direct copy, which is fine. We have another nice cover, a nice painted cover. Corey Wilkinson. um, Corey Wilkinson, from what I saw, he did a few covers for Now Comics mainly. Did a Speed Racer cover, which was featured in, oh my God, when Speed Racer, was it Dark Horse? I think Dark Horse did like a Speed Racer. And inside that book, they featured Wilkinson's Speed Racer cover from Now Comics, if I remember correctly. But let's get into it. As we remember, issue 4 and 5, Jack Herman took over the writing. It was a nice 2-part story. You know, it kind of moved away from the first 3 issues. The first 3 issues were just kick butt, all out action. You know, we saw Sarah Slammers, we saw Kyle Reese's brother, we saw the Moon People, who I'm not too crazy about, but pretty much they all died. The only one left is a cyborg robot of sorts from the moon. So yeah, I wanted to get back to that group, and I think we do get back to that group because now, as this book opens, we see a Terminator on a what is that? A swamp skiff, right? Going through the Everglades, and we still see the same creative team: Jack Herman, Tom Tenney, Jim Brosman, uh, doing some good work. And then the title going back to Miami. If you remember, at the end of issue 3, Miami was blown up because that's where the flesh farm was. And yeah, Miami was pretty much blown up. It is now a radioactive wasteland. So we're now in the Florida Everglades, and it pretty much shows you where you are in this weird looking Florida drawing. I mean, it's the future, right? Not that far in the future, but it's the future. But still, you could probably do a little bit better job uh, of making it look a little bit more like Florida, right? I like this close-up shot here of the Punisher. Uh, he's getting some radio uh, communication that they're meeting heavy resistance. We're digging in. We can't hold out for long. Um, and then we go to a cabin deep in the heart of the Everglades. Now, these two guys are Terminators. And it's weird, just basically because they dress like motorcycle gang wannabes, and they have this human who as their prisoner. And it's just weird how these Terminators talk. I don't know. I would have wrote it a different way. I would have had him be more robotic, but more kind of like how AI sounds now. You know what I mean? It's like they're not talking. Usually, like if these were humans and their motorcycle gang, they'd be like, "Hey, bro, let's get this guy and tie this guy up, and yeah, we're not going to be able to." But they're like, "Oh, where was it? There's one here. There's a sequence in here, and and it sounds weird. I'm warning you, be silent. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see how two Terminators could like argue since they're all hooked into Skynet. Anyway, outside there's this uh, team of soldiers, and they're here to rescue this guy. But if they can't rescue him, they're there to kill him. But they know, they're trying to get the guy, but they know he's not a great guy. So they're all for just killing him outright. But anyway, yeah. So there's this team, and they're going to make a push onto this to either rescue that guy or kill him. You keep watch. I'll see to our friend. You know, and that's why, and it's confusing because even the prisoner's like, so you two are prepared to lay down your lives for me, huh? What are friends for? That's rich. They're not alive. They're Terminators. They're mechanical beings. So it's weird. It's weird how they talk and how they interact. It's you know you have to just look past that and move on. But anyway, they do a grenade. These guys. I guess they have regular guns, but they're shooting up the place. I mean, the grenade didn't do much. It blew the front door off, but you know, and they tell them right out. Two of them are making a diversionary frontal assault, so they know it's a diversion. Cover me. I'm going in. He gets iced. Looks clear. The other guy's like, no, get back, and he gets iced. And this guy starts shooting up the place. He gets iced by the other Terminator. So yeah, I mean, it's an action. It's a nice action sequence. Um, And he's trying to save his buddy. Well, it looks like he got hit a little bit. I mean, it looks like half of this dude's face is going, oh no, he's in the water. I was going to say, but he's dead. I mean, and then here come the alligators, right? You know, and he's going to the other group or the rest of the group. Although I don't know why this is the prisoner. He's like, Skynet currently projects our probability of survival is less than 35%, but he's a human prisoner. Just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, there's another grenade. He's going to throw the grenade, but he gets iced, drops the grenade right in front of him, and he's dead. And they got another grenade. They threw another grenade. This Terminator lands on the grenade. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice action sequence. And then here comes the Terminator on the skiff. He's like, holy moly, so he came to the rescue. He ices pretty much the rest of the group. All these guys die. Where is it? Where? I want to show you something. I mean, I like it. It's a nice double page spread. You know, these guys are getting shot, but you don't really see that. It tells you down here that the people are dying. And the one weird thing about this is that Now Comics The Terminator, as I'm reading this, they're trying to take, come on, they're trying to take, an R-rated movie, an R-rated property, The Terminator, and turn it into like a kid-friendly PG type story. It doesn't really work. The material itself, the premise itself doesn't really work for that, but they're doing it like here, and they do this several times in this book. Like, nobody swears. They won't even say who the hell is that. It's who the heck is that, and they dash the two L's. And now, but they say more harsh words, nowadays in comics, and even at that time they did. And that tells me that this is something, oh, this is coming apart, isn't it? Oh, didn't see that at first. Anyway, and I don't know if that's a publisher thing. The publisher said, hey, we want to make this as kid friendly as possible, right? I just had to do my camera there for a little bit. Anyway, these two guys get iced. I mean, pretty much now the whole group is dead, right? The whole group that came to rescue or kill that guy is pretty much dead, except for these two guys. But and the action sequences, the death sequences are kind of, what is there? 3, 4 guys. He goes through the door, slams it on top of that guy. I guess he crushes him, so he's probably dead. He kills this guy here, but the angles, you don't really You don't really see it. Again, they're trying to keep it kid friendly, even though people are dying, you know. So he shoots him, but he's like, yeah, what are you kidding me? And he blows him away. So yeah, pretty much everyone dies. I mean, he blows the skin off his hand, and we're going to get to this in a minute, but then he puts his hand in his chest and pulls out his heart. Uh, an homage to the original Terminator movie, right? Where the Terminator puts his hand through the kid's chest and pulls his heart out. So that's okay. So apparently Jack Herman saw the Terminator movie. What I don't like, oh, I thought they showed it. No, I guess not. Huh. Now I'm seeing things. Okay. And the dude is dead or alive. Yes, the survivors from Hanson's 3rd Demechanized Infantry Battalion out of Orlando. They're all dead. Um, and now he's talking like a Terminator. Our reprogramming instructed us to keep Deford R97143 alive. All other conditions secondary. You have performed your function very well. Proceed to the prearranged pickup zone. And now they're talking like I expected them to talk. And now we have a cutaway. We have a cutaway to Sarah's Slammers. Again, Kyle Reese's brother and Conrad from the moon. And he's again, how long do you think it'll be before Lunar Base sends down another ship? And he's like, maybe 10 months. If you watch my previous video, issue number 3, it doesn't make much sense because they came down because they make trips every so often. They come down to Earth to get plankton from the sea and on other stuff to bring back to the moon to survive and all that. And because they didn't return with their stuff, doesn't make sense. Why would the moon wait another year? If they didn't come back with their stuff, they would want to come down as soon as possible. They wouldn't want to wait another year. You know what I'm saying? Before they come back down. But again, that doesn't make much sense, but they're going with it. It must be something. Now that I'm thinking about it, it must just be something that they came up with and said, if a team doesn't return, consider them just something happened, they died, and you wait a year so that, if Terminators killed them down here, they're not flying right back down into another trap, even though they have cloaking technology to cloak, you know what I'm saying, to cloak their ship. Anyway, but here it is. So now he's stealing the skin off of the hand of a dead man and putting it on his Terminator hand. Now, I don't like that for several reasons. So, and if you've worn disposable gloves, latex, neoprene, it doesn't matter, surgical gloves of any type, if you've worn those gloves for a little bit, right, your hands sweat inside, you pull it off. Now, you can't pull it off like a winter glove, right? You just pull it off. Now it's inside out. For you to put that glove back on with the right side out is nearly impossible. Okay, so the only way he gets this skin off the guy is to pull it off the guy's hand. So basically, the skin of the hand is going to be inside out. So there's no way he's just going to slip this on like a glove, number one. Number two, why would he do that? Who cares? He has a perfectly good, robot hand that he can use perfectly. So why would you take somebody's skin and just put it over your robot hand? You're this is the future. You're not infiltrating. You're not trying to fool human beings because there are no human beings. You know, it doesn't make sense to me why you would do that, and it's pretty much nearly impossible uh, to rip the skin off of a human's hand and then just put it on yours. Nah, that's that I would do without. I wouldn't even have included this sequence at all. I would have kept going, keep him with his robot hand and his Terminator hand and just keep going with it. But now we get to the whole thing of why they had him, because Defford was the chief tactician of the Southeastern Human Resistance. He has information. Uh, he's not allowed by Skynet to kill you, but he cuts his chest, and here come the alligators. And basically we get to the gist of this. I want Sarah Slammers, the one who hit the flesh farm 6 weeks ago, from issue 3. There should have been an editor's note there, but there isn't. Where are they? And of course, Defford's telling them they work out of an underground installation called Home Base, 55 miles due west of Miami. He knows, now we see it's a radioactive crater. They blew it up because they lived in a silo, and the leader said, this nuke missile is inactive. Don't worry about it. But he lied, and it was active, and he blew up the base along with a whole bunch of Terminators and Terminator stuff there, and the flesh farm, by the way. So, he wants to know where they are because he feels he has the information. He's the info guy for the resistance. So finally, the gator gets close. He's like, "Yep, I'll tell you anything you want to know." And he's like, "I know you will. I know you will." I know my Schwarzenegger is terrible, especially with my terrible nasal drippage going on. But anyway, I know you will. That's better. And then he kills the alligator. And then he takes the guy, gets back on his skiff, and if you are lying to me, I'll take a lot more than just your hands. I want Sarah's slammers, and I'm going to get them. To be continued. I know it's a terrible Schwarzenegger. Again, I like that we're gonna focus back on Sarah Slammers and the whole Miami thing, and now we're in the Everglades. I like that. I like that to be continued in little robot type down here. Again, there are some things that I'm not crazy about. Um, I think, come on, man, make them swear. You can up this at least to a PG-13. But they want. I get it. Now comics, you want as wide as audience as possible, so you're trying to make it all ages. I get it, even though it doesn't make sense because they kill a ton of people in these books. As weird as they draw it, they're still dead. But anyway, another good issue. Again, a lot of action, and we have letters, so that's good. One thing that I thought was interesting in this letters column, right down here. We focused or what? Come on. Right down to the end. Terminator issues 1, 2, and 3 have officially sold out. There will be absolutely no reprints. So no second prints, no third prints. You better get your copy soon. Your best bet finding these is your local newsstand because unfortunately the comic shops never seem to order enough. Now, with that being said, obviously these books are selling out. We saw in the first 3 issues, okay, 9,200 copies. And this is just Capital City Distribution. Now, Capital City Distribution, at that time that this book was coming out, I did a little research. and they had 30% of the distribution in the country. 30%. Diamond had 40%, and then there was a couple other distributors who had the other 30%. But Capital City, 30%. So they ordered 9,200 for issue one, then cut it almost in half, 59.75 for issue two, 56.75 for issue three. And even at 9,200 issue one, the book sold out. I mean, and it did so because it had a great cover by Mitch O'Connell, and they're still using as their corner box, which they should. It was a great cover. They should always use that. They should use that as the corner box for the entire series. But then after issue three, and the books were selling out, people must have went, hey, I need more. Comic shop said, okay. So they went from 56.75 to 6,400 for issue four, 69.75 for issue five. And then this issue 6, they went up again, another 125 copies, 7,100 now. So we're still 2,000 copies shy of issue one, what was ordered for issue one. It'll be interesting to see down the road if, when they stop selling out. Did issue four sell out? Did issue five sell out? And they're saying, get yours on the newsstand, because direct comic shops are selling out. So that's very interesting. And of course, I get these numbers. Let's just move this out of the way. I get these Capital City numbers from this huge tome, the Standard Catalog of Comic Books, second edition. I've had this book for a while. I keep forgetting that I have it, and it does show. It shows diamond numbers too, but for the most part, it does show Capital City numbers. The Standard Catalog of Comic Books was compiled by John Jackson Miller, among other people. And John Jackson Miller has a website, comicron.com, where he goes through a whole bunch of numbers. He has, if you're interested in the numbers, the comics numbers game, he has numbers up on that site. So I'm pulling those numbers too. And the reason why the numbers interest me, especially now, is that you see so many people nowadays going, oh, they pull out this book from 2000. Oh, this is a rare book. You can't find it, so it's rare. It's not rare. If you look at the numbers, thousands and thousands of copies, and I use that as a source. People don't like it when I confront them with it and give them the info, but don't lie to people and say something's rare when it's not. And that's a pet peeve. But anyway, going back to the Terminator number 6, like I said, Capital City, 7,100 copies ordered for issue 6. It's a good issue again, even though it's kind of dumbed down, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this. Man, did those pages come out? That ticks me off. Where was I? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, overall, another good cover, even though every single person on this cover dies in the story. It's kind of funny now that you think of it. But good story. I'm glad to see that we didn't just, have 3 issues of Sarah Slammers and that story, and now we're just gonna go off and to do other stories. So I'm glad we're getting back to it. Looking forward to reading issue 7. Looking forward to giving you issue 7. Looking forward to see if those numbers go up or down. If they continue to go up, 7,100 copies, does it go up from there? Does it, will we get back to 9,200? Or will it go down a little bit? What's going to happen with the numbers? That'll be interesting also. Another question is, do I have any more newsstands, or is everything else direct from here on out? All that and more will be answered. If you have any questions, you can leave comment, you can like, you can subscribe. I answer all the comments that people leave. I'd like to have a conversation, and who knows, maybe one day we'll do a live, right? We'll do a live deep dive and see who tunes in for that. But we're at the end. I've rambled on for long enough, and I'm glad that you tuned in. I'm glad that we went through this book, and as always, we'll see you in the funny pages.